Welcome back to the Havoc Rundown. I'm your host, Justin Hunter, and tonight we are gearing up for the first major event on our 2026 Combat Robotics calendar, Mass Destruction, happening January 31st. Hosted inside the iconic Museum of Science in Boston, this event marks the revival of one of Northeast's most beloved and historic robot combat tournaments, bringing top-tier builders back into the spotlight where it all began. And to help us break it all down, we're joined by the crew that brought it back to life, Team Omega, the minds behind the chaos. You might know them from their time on BattleBots, from the robots like Starchild and Ripperoni, or from their appearances across the NHL and events nationwide, but they're also the ones keeping the New England scene thriving with innovation, community, and world-class competition. Please welcome the minds behind Mass D, Brandon, Lucas, Fred, and Spocky. I'm saying that right?
Yes,
right?
correct.
You like Spocky? Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for being on and talking to us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, of course, I'm not alone tonight. Joining me, as always, is the full Havoc Rundown crew. Please welcome the Game Master, Ryan Hunter.
Hello there.
The Community Connection, Ashley Beckman.
Hi.
Our wonderful Chaos Conduit, Thomas Carroll.
You can learn about watches at the museum.
And our webmaster, Tony Baker.
I'm still flipping through spreadsheets.
And as I said before, I am your host, Justin. So before we get into anything else, we're just going to take a quick dip into the other combat robotics competitions that happened over the past weekend. We are recording on the 20th, so these are the competitions that happened between last week and this week. So first up, at Robot Renegades in Florida, Destroyer took home the win in Ants. Sunday Scaries came out on top in Beetles, and Hammerhead crushed the Plastic class. We then move over to G-Scrolls Mech Mayhem in New Jersey. Flamingo was crowned in Ants. Twitch took home the win in Fairies, and Trampoline in Plastic Ants. We're going to move out to Utah. The Bot Spot delivered 4 champions: Fission for Ants, Fragment X in Beetles, Splinter and Fairies, and Nacho in Plastic. Next up, Winter Wars from Merca, MRCA, saw Pipsqueak take the win in Ants, Pipeline Punch, which is one we know very well, take it in Beetles, and Fifi, F-I-F-I, took it home in Plastics. Second to last is CMARCC in Massachusetts, gave us 2 standout winners, Paper Jam in Ants, and Illegal Dorito, wonderful name in Plastics. And finally, down in Brazil, Morento took the Antweight crown at Robocore. So it's been a pretty wild weekend full of chaos, and 2026 is just getting started. So we are
actually,
Can I
Illegal
community
Dorito?
you real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Community.
I didn't catch this in the notes. It's not the Museum of Science. The Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation in Waltham.
Exactly.
I don't know why that got messed up in my notes.
You said it, and I was like, oh, I didn't catch that.
This is why I said notes beforehand, Ashley.
It's okay. We have the correct name of the museum.
We don't
People will not
mind
do the wrong
this
museum.
anymore.
Wonderful planetarium, but you can't learn about watches there. You can see giant lightning and Van de Graaff generators, but there's no watches.
Yeah, go to the museum with the watches. It's better than the Museum of Science.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I pulled that info from, but yeah, thank you, Ashley, for the
Can't say
correction
what I
on
want
that.
to say.
Yeah, well. So let us move over. Ryan's back with a brand new game corner, and we have absolutely no idea what he's planned. We just told him to try and do something with some Mass D bots. So let's see what he's going to do over in Ryan's game corner.
Okay, Ryan's Game Corner, we are going to do exactly that. We're going to get everybody familiar with some robots that are going to be at Mass D on the 31st. Actually, really cool. Illegal Dorito will be at Mass D in Plants. So that'll be fun. All right. So for the game, we're doing a quick draw bot naming round to get everyone familiar with these robot names. This is how it's going to work. I've written clues based around bots that are attending the event. This is the only ones that are going to be are ones that are on the event list right now and actually in the event. Each of these clues
at the event. Got it. Can I look at the
Yes.
list? Is that allowed?
It's on our website.
I'm fine with that. You can look at the list if you want. Each of these clues has to do with a bot's name. They're all pretty simple. Don't overthink them. They should be really very quick. I'm going to score this as Team Omega against Team Havoc Rundown. If someone buzzes in and gets it wrong, the other team will get a chance to steal.
Oh, no. Oh, good. The house can't get points this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, if both sides get wrong, maybe the house gets a point. Okay.
Buzzer just us
No
screaming,
house.
or do we raise hands, or how do we?
You could buzz in with a buzz. Anything to designate that you are buzzing in. All right.
Oh, you're allowed to scream, yes.
Fred
Yeah.
can
Just
start
the
jumping up
goat
and down.
scream?
Whatever you need.
No, please scream. Ryan will love it.
All right. Is everybody clear on the rules? I have 6 clues.
Yeah, go
They
ahead.
both beetles and plastic ants?
They are both beetles and plants. Yes.
All right, I'm not looking. We're just going to go
Why do
for
you
it.
call them plants?
wing it.
Pants.
Plants is correct.
Plants is correct. Justin said plastics. I was like, what plastics? Okay, so the first clue. Everything this plastic ant hits turns to gold.
What?
Yeah.
Ashley, yes?
This is so wrong, but the only thing that came to my mind was cheddar goblin.
No, it's not cheddar goblin.
Oh,
Ashley.
Someone from
Just Sheep, yeah. Oh, it's Midas.
It is Midas. Yes, it is. Good job. That is a point for Team Omega.
I just
All
said
right.
I wasn't looking at the list, so I have no idea.
I respect just completely winging it, but that
Yeah.
may not be the play.
Ashley
All
was
right.
trying to hold herself to higher standards than the rest of us.
Yeah, apparently.
My second clue. What is that bird that are the closest living relatives to the Tyrannosaurus Rex? What was that one again?
Dang.
Ding.
Thomas.
It's a chicken.
It is chicken. Yes, it is. Okay.
Wow.
gonna say-
He's doing Oh,
Our friendship, isn't it?
It's definitely the power of friendship.
Okay. Next clue. Over easy, fried, frittata, poaching, omelets, boiled. What's missing?
Buzz.
Buzz.
It's scrambled eggs.
It's scrambled eggs. All right. That's a Team Omega point. So far, we have 2 to Omega and 1 to Team Havoc. Okay. Next.
Buzz.
Yeah?
Yeah, Thomas, what is it?
Oh, God. Repeater.
Huh?
Repeater.
No. Okay.
That would have been crazy if he got it.
Yes.
I was thinking you were going to say jackalope or something. All right, go.
This beetle is the complete opposite of a slow enemy.
Turbo Fiend? Sorry. Yoink.
What was it? What was that?
Sorry, Turbo Fred. Sorry.
It
That's
is Turbo
Turbo
Fred. Yes, it is Turbo Fred.
But sorry.
Yeah.
Buzz.
All right.
How dare you, Lucas?
Okay.
I was the one who suggested screaming too. I bet.
It worked.
Okay. According to Isaac Asimov, this is okay. It is first law. Okay. One last clue. At first, he was curious, but they stole his bananas, and now the chimp is pissed.
Buzz. Furious George.
It is Furious George. All right. And Team Omega wins with 5-1.
Damn.
Good job.
How did I know Fred was going to be good at this game?
Almost like we've been staring at the reg list for the past month and a half.
Oh, man.
Somebody has to say these names over and over again.
Yes.
Bingo.
And it's Brandon.
As long as it's not there's a beetle. Yeah, the Isocoppa, whatever the heck.
Oh,
Do that on your own time.
Oh, no. I'm going to sit in over and over again.
No, what
This-
was the one? Hello-Bopta Chopper?
Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it after like 5 or 6 times. It took a while.
Isopocalypse Riser. That one's
Yeah,
easy.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, there's Plekta. I'm not even going to say the
I
whole
got
thing. There's
you.
Plek. Plek is a terrible robot name, too.
Collector Hinka Dinka Dingaling.
Some of these guys are running dangerously close to getting renamed like Bob.
Well, I did see one of my favorite names up here that's on the wait list is Rickety Cricket, and that's only because I'm a Always Sunny, huge Always Sunny fan. So, I hope they get off the wait list and we can fight Rickety Cricket. That would be fun.
Yeah, Rickety Cricket would be awesome.
Okay, very cool. Very good game, Rye.
Thank you.
We are going to move out of the game corner, and we're going to move to our signature segment. So, I don't know if any of you guys have ever listened to an episode, but our signature segment is each of us comes up with a question to ask our guests. This could be about your Comet Robotics experience, about your event, or anything like that. And then Thomas has a surprise question at the end that he never tells us what it's going to be because he never knows what it's going to be.
The other question.
So we are going to go into our 5 in focus. Ashley, I have your question up first.
Okay, we are jumping right in then because I always like to know people's favorite things. So I want to know what your favorite part of hosting Mass Destruction has been.
Don't
Who
all
wants to
speak
start?
at once.
You go, Brandon.
All right. So I would say my favorite part, and there's a lot, right? Because the people that we work with are really good. The builders have been really good to us in general. We've really had very few issues with people. It's been really good. But I think personally, my favorite bit is just, if you could pinpoint a moment, it's when it's the last round of beetle weights or the last round of plastic ants and everything is starting to kind of like formulate. You get some really good fights. It's before everything slows down and there's all kinds of stuff to do and you have tons of stuff going on in the box and out of the box. Fred and I are ripping back and forth. We got the brackets going. We got the fights going. We've got stuff going on in front of us. I'm trying to hit the pit when somebody falls in. It's pure chaos. I think that's probably my favorite time of the entire day.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is getting to participate in combat robots without having to build a robot.
That is fair.
I don't have to worry about the stress about winning or losing because no matter what happens, I always win.
Coming from two people, myself and Ryan, who are currently working on getting a robot up and running for Mass Destruction, I totally understand that.
A different kind of stress, but
Yeah.
different variety. Yeah.
Typically, the stress comes before. It's like
Yeah.
once you actually get to day of, like the majority of the work that isn't fun is over, and then it's just fun. So, because especially the arena build, like the put up is the hardest, like physical part of the whole thing. But once that's done, it's all easier from there.
Yep, makes sense.
I'd say for me, we've had a couple of builders, especially some younger builders and some family teams that have had their first event at Mass Destruction after attending Mass Destruction as an audience member. And that's just been so amazing to see the people coming into the sport and especially bringing their children and their college students in and getting to see the development there has been really nice.
Yeah, I think Nora from Under Destruction started at Mass D.
It's great to see.
I won that first one, right? At the
Yes.
plant. So
Yeah, you're second one, yeah.
Dad was a nervous wreck the whole time, but
Yeah, this will be interesting. We meant to go last year. We never got a chance. So this is going to be our first Mass D. And I mean, everyone has always talked very highly of it, including Ashley and Thomas, who have both gone. So we're extremely excited to not just go and, talk to everyone that is involved there and talk to builders, but also actually have a robot, which I don't think we've competed since this time last year. January is
Year before.
year before 2020.
Time flies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
the
okay.
other thing is,
So it's been a
This will
while.
be-
It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
this
Ryan
is going
has
to
a
actually be
point
my
too.
first event for robot combats that's not in HRO. I've never been to a local event before.
There you
So
go.
this should be fun.
It's very, very exciting.
you picked a good event.
Tony, why don't you go next?
So since I'm researching the history of robotic combatics lately, what made you decide to resurrect Mass Destruction instead of just starting a new?
We've been doing mass destruction I just checked. We've been involved in one way or another for like the last 10 years, or at least me. So it's just sort of the brand, the IP, the event that we have here in Boston. And it was just a lot more straightforward to just keep that vibe running, especially when there was a little bit of a period where running the entire event was a lot of stress on us and we tried to pass it off to other people. But when we wanted to pick it back up again, it was based off the same ideas that we were originally running the event. We want to make a cool, chill event that everybody enjoys having fun at and is approachable for a lot of these beginner builders. So that's really the ethos and the dream that we wanted to bring back to the combat robot world.
Yeah, and part of the thing that's really cool that I like about the situation that we're in now as an event is we are kind of beholden to nobody. We can run events whenever we want. If somebody's like, hey, we want to do an event this weekend, we can make it happen. It's our arena. We built it ourselves. We designed it ourselves. We built it ourselves. We know exactly how it goes up and down. It's, I would say, pretty darn easy to go up and down. It's heavy, but as far as the actual assembly of it goes together pretty good. The financial aspect of the program is stable. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, we've kind of really put the work in already, and we can really do whatever the heck we want. If we want to, it's like nobody's telling us what rules to run. Nobody's telling us what weight classes to run. If we want to run one thing or another thing, we can. And I think that's kind of what's one of the things that's cool about Mass D specifically, is that it's just like, we just can absolutely wing it. And I think people have a fun time when you're having a fun time.
A lot of that goes back to like Rob Masick when he founded Mass D so long ago. He had the original ethos of he wants to have a fun event that involves a significant level of winging it, but it's very approachable for everybody who shows up to it. And it really tries to maximize the amount of fights and fun that people have while they're at the event. And that's something we really wanted to keep going.
I would like to say that you have done a fantastic job at that. I've only missed one event in the last 3 years. And so hats off to your entire crew, for sure.
Thank you.
Also, everybody in the whole combat robotics space, especially up in the New England area and everything like that, everybody's excited for it. Everybody talks really highly of it, especially the pit design and everything like that. I think the pit is probably one of everybody's favorite things that's ever been designed into a box with the lifting pit. It's amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see it.
That's all Brandon.
Yeah, we weren't sure how people were going to react to it, but it's good to hear that it's been popular.
Yeah, I'm always stoked to hear people like it, because I think we went out on a bit of a limb doing something like that, but it was really popular, and I think just in general, it's really added to the experience, fits the vibe of the event, and even just not just in the fact that Mass D is a fun first event and all that other stuff, but I think competitively it makes a lot of sense too. So it's really a win-win on all fronts in my book, and I love to hear when people have feedback about it.
What I love about it is it's like you get the point of you've been put into a pit, but it doesn't end the whole match, because usually pits, when you get pitted in other arenas, that's the end of the match. It's done. Everything's over. It's an instant win, which is cool in and of itself for control bots, but being able to have the match continue, especially when both bots go into the pit and then they all both come flying up, hitting each other at the same time. It's the coolest thing in the world. I love it.
It's I mean, we had a conversation before recording about making control bots interesting to watch, and I think it's a unique and a great idea to make that being able to control where you and your opponent are in the cage a very interesting thing to watch and a very interesting thing to drive and actually experience, because you have a goal instead of just hey, I'm gonna pin, hey, I'm gonna hold. It's hey, I'm trying to get my opponent in this hole, and it's very cool to watch me get my opponent in this hole. So yeah, it's I can't wait to see it in person, because I've never seen it in person. So
it's loud.
And drive around it.
It's loud.
Yeah.
Ryan's new design is very fast and unpredictable, and
I'm going in the pit.
it's never even been built yet, so we've never driven it, so we don't know. Yeah, the thing's going to the pit quite a few times.
Oh yeah, and it'll shoot up in it's good. It's all good. How does it run? What is it? What's the shooting mechanism?
So it's
If Brandon's leg gets tired by the end of the day.
yeah. Well, I added the pedals because initially I had buttons on the table, and the pedals were such a better because I have my computer in front of me. I have the stream up. I have the brackets up, and the fights. So I have way too much stuff on the desk in front of me, anyways.
And have you ever seen one of those old timey like mine carts? That's how it used to run, and Brandon would have to pump it up manually every time.
Back in my day, we manually pumped up the pit. But all it is essentially is a big central spring actuator, and then it's reloaded with pneumatics. So the theory being is that no matter what your air pressure situation's at, or if you lose pressure or something, you still fire at full rate. You're not beholden to regulator flow rates, or you don't need a buffer tank or any of these other things that limit like pneumatic flippers. Typically the big thing is the flow rate, and you need these big expensive actuators that can actuate lightning fast with ludicrous flow rate. None of that, just like $40 in springs, and it goes chunk really, really loud. It's got this big latch mechanism that fires it, so the latch is pneumatic too.
Oh, that's awesome. Rye, why don't you take the next one?
So mine is kind of along the lines of what we were just talking about. Where do you see Mass D in more local events in the world of combat robotics, and what do you want to achieve with Mass D?
Lucas, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the rest of the team, but I feel like it's kind of already been achieved, right? Like we have, as Brandon just described, we have an event that we can kind of run when we want and run it in a way where we can have fun with the people in the area who want to come out and do it. Like, I guess it's got enough notoriety that, Luke Quintal is maybe trying to come out with Rickety Cricket. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just optimistic that we've peaked or something like that, but I'd love to hear where we actually are going to go.
What do you guys think?
I think a long time ago, back in the distant past, we had dreams of running an event every 3 months, and that's what sort of started to influence the Norwalk schedule in the days before there was a Norwalk. And 3 months was way too brutal, both from running an event and participating in the event over and over again. So now that we're fully in charge and we've got a wonderful sponsor and partner with the Charles River Museum of Industry, who can let us run events basically whenever we want. Like, we really aren't beholden to a schedule or a tempo or a pace. We can do something that sort of just like makes everybody happy, and it has a nice ecosystem where we're not going too fast that we get a high churn, and we're not going too slow that people may lose interest, and we'll get a lot of people cycling in and out every year. But still, we've got that really nice level where still it's an approachable event where we get brand new rookies to combat robotics every single event, and that's wonderful to see. That's really what we're here for.
If I can tell a story real quick, one of the things we talk about goals and stuff with this event. One of the things, so I think I went to every Norwalk in 2021. And so I went there, I was competing till late at night. That was before Norwalk had really fixed their timing.
1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, it's significantly better now. It's great now, but the timing used to be really, really brutal. And we'd be there till super late at night and just tired. You get back to the hotel room, you just crater immediately. And then I went to Sword in Pennsylvania, and we fought the whole event. It was myself, Joe Fabiani, and Nate Franklin in the finals. And so we got out of that, we packed up, and Joe and myself and Don Derfler went to dinner at a Mex restaurant and watched the sun go down. And we're like, wait, you can go to a robot event, you can eat dinner afterwards? Like, this is incredible. So one of the big things that I've just like an internal goal for me is everyone gets in at a reasonable time. We get out and you can have dinner with your buddies afterwards, and you can have a good time, and you're not there till super late. So it's like, that's one of the things, is that it's like having it be bigger would be cooler, or having it big would be cool, but we don't want to sacrifice the quality of the event for the people who are there, because we're limited on time, we're limited on space, and there's just certain things that we can't, like, unfortunately we can't just like apparate 3,000 square feet of pit space, right? So we got to do with what we have. So as far as goals, just in general, is to every single event have everyone who goes there have a blast, have fun, and get out of there so that they can have a beer with their buddies after the event and make memories, you know? So that's kind of or at least in my opinion, one of my big goals with the event.
We've done a lot of really ambitious stuff with Mass Destruction in the past. We've taken the show on the road down to New York City. That's like, I think the first time that I got to work with Spocky and Brandon, like really extensively. We've had 2-day events all over the place. We've done the whole Maker Faire circuit. We've tried a lot of really ambitious stuff. And what we really want to do is just settle into this nice, cozy pace where we're comfortable running this event ad infinitum. People are happy to show up ad infinitum. We're just at a really nice leveling out point that's just focused on making everybody as happy as we can.
Yeah.
Do you have a schedule for the year?
No.
I'm just asking.
Now we've discussed, we kind of want to keep it on like a 2 event a year pace.
Mhm.
That's kind of the tempo that we want to keep it on. And generally 1 in the early months of the year and generally 1 late summer, early fall. The tough thing is though, is that the venue also does weddings, and early fall is a big wedding time in New England. So we get kind of elbowed out by, you know, the actual paying customers. So, but that's
Did your teammate get married there too?
Yeah.
Other Lucas Ewing got married there.
So you were talking about going other places, and you were talking about how heavy the cage is. Like, what's the travel like? How easy is it to take that cage apart and actually move it?
It comes into, so it collapses into a bunch of flat panels, which is how we store it. Another great thing about the museum is they have an expansive museum basement where they actually let us store a lot of our stuff. So it makes it really easy to set up. And the pieces are flat, but they are heavy. We have yet to have to trailer it anywhere, but I think we could totally figure it out. The U-Haul or two.
We've done the inverse. That's how we set the clutch of the truck on fire. Was
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
We've really kind of figured out a strategy between panel carts and lifting straps and enough hands. It's really not too bad. The big thing is just getting enough people. If we can always poke some of our team members to get enough people out, it's really not too bad. And yeah, it would be as much as just getting a trailer and stuffing the 4 walls, 4 legs, 2 roof pieces, 2 floor pieces, a handful of other ancillary stuff like the kick plates and stuff, and it's all in there. And the doors too, because the doors come separate. It is similar in design to the early Norwalk arenas because it's based off of Charles's initial Mass D arena design that got sold to NHRL after the 2018, or was it 2019 New York Maker Faire? So it's a little branch in Norwalk Mass D history.
Very cool.
How did you get the museum on board with it? How was that? How was it like selling the museum an event like Mass D?
We had a couple of friends of friends. One of them was a volunteer there, Rob Reeve, and the other, Rob Masick, who set up Mass Destruction to begin with. Like, he was talking to Bob, who's the head of the Charles River Museum. So, like, we had 2 different inroads, and it was pretty easy to just walk in and say, hey, do you guys want to have a giant event where you get a bunch of nerds in to come look at all of your watches and all the robot fighting? So that's been a very straightforward thing for us, and the museum has been super on board with having us every year. It's just been a really great partner to have.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like they're your kind of crowd. Like it seems like a very collaborative partnership. So
Definitely.
Is there a lot of crowd of people that come to the museum and now suddenly there's robot fighting?
It's a pretty small museum. So they usually, I guess a local museum, they don't get a huge amount of like day-to-day, just random visitors. The event itself is a big draw. Like, we spike ticket sales pretty aggressively on the days we hold our event, which is great for them. It's great for us. So it is a really good, like, symbiotic partnership.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
So Thomas never has a question ready beforehand. He always
What do
likes
you mean? I
to.
always have a question ready.
Okay. He always has a question he doesn't like to tell us beforehand. So I always like to sandwich him in between the second to last and the last question. So Thomas, what is your question?
So it's an either or you can answer both. Favorite part of the museum? What should everyone see when they're there? As well as favorite restaurant / food on Moody Street.
That's a lot of food on Moody Street.
There is.
Thomas?
Yeah, we gotta pull up that place. The place that we went to, a couple places we went to last time were good. A couple places that we went to the time before were mixed. We had one that was good and one that was not so good.
I'm always a big fan of Gustazzo. Like, that's one of my all-time Boston favorites. And they've bounced around a lot of different sides of Moody Street since I've moved up to Boston.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
As far as the stuff in the museum, I learned about something that I had seen but didn't know what it was on one of their social media posts in the last week that I thought was wicked cool, which was because all these mill buildings had consistently running shafts throughout the facility from the water power, and they'd use belts to transmit power to their individual machines, and it was essentially centralized kinetic energy. And so all these belts they were making on site, and they have this whole machine that's this gigantic chunk of steel that and it looks like it probably weighs 80 pounds. The only thing it does is it takes a leather belt and then it almost looks like a claw with it's like a C with claws on both sides, and you situate the two together and it squashes the teeth of the claw into the belt. You do that on one side, you do that on the other side, and now they both have this little kind of bracket hanging out of it. You overlap the two brackets and you run a pin down the center, and now you have a belt. And it's just funny because it's there's exactly one thing that this machine is for, and it's for that. But I just thought it was kind of fun.
I need to see this
Industrial
machine.
unitasker.
I still have one belt that actually uses those.
Yep.
You would, Tom.
I'm very excited to see
You
this
don't have a historic machine belt?
Yeah, it is definitely the amount of doohickeys at that museum is ludicrous.
Great word.
If you're interested,
Certified thingamabob location.
yeah, there's some thingamabobs. It's just stuff that's single-use machines for making something that you never would have known existed. It's just
such a cool museum because there were so many old mills, back from the Waltham Watch Company times, and just a lot of other mill stuff around Waltham at the time, where they've now taken all of those machines, shoved them into one tiny little museum, and then taken the buildings that those museums used to be in and just turned them into office parks or apartments. So now you get just so much focused history of all the coolest machine tools from over centuries, just focused in one tiny little local museum.
I do love looking at the industrial past of New England, if I may branch off slightly. New England is one of those places where if you look around it right now, it doesn't look like there's a lot of industry stuff. There doesn't look like a lot of factories or anything like that. But back in the day, we were cotton, we were all sorts of stuff that was being done here. Tobacco, a lot of stuff was made in New England. I mean, the history of Connecticut and Massachusetts have so many patents and so many different things that were invented. And it's one of those things of you could travel to old New England towns and everything like that. Even where we grew up, there's a big waterfall that was clearly made it's not a natural waterfall. It was made specifically to run a mill. And unless you knew that history of it, it kind of is hidden. But once you see that, you could see the old areas where the wheel was stuck and everything like that. It's really cool.
Well, we have, it's not a well-known museum in Waterbury, Connecticut, but the Timex Museum. I've been there a couple times when we were kids. I've not been in a very long time, but speaking of the clocks that Thomas was talking about, that's what that entire museum is just clocks and watches and stuff. So,
and they talk about the Timex girls and everything like that too.
Yeah. they have a whole glow in the. Well, again, this was years and years and years ago, but they had a whole glow in the dark room where the lights were off and all the watch faces that go in the dark were all there. And yeah.
Did you ever try to bring a Geiger counter into that room?
No.
The amazing chemicals and things that we used to deal with.
Yeah.
The short form version for anyone listening that doesn't know who the Timex girls were or anything like that. Basically, back when they were first discovering using radioactive isotopes to paint the clock faces so they would glow, they didn't realize about radiation sickness. So they would wet their brushes with their mouths, and they all got radiation sickness because they were literally ingesting radioactive material all day long. So that was like a whole thing that they didn't realize until later. And I think if I remember right, that was like one of the biggest, once they figured out that was what was going on, that was one of the biggest like studies in radiation sickness and everything like that. But yeah, super
delicious.
Cool. Yes.
So just to know for anyone that does want to go to that museum, the building is still there, but it closed in 2015 and never reopened its doors. So
yeah.
Magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just one of those memories. So, okay, very cool. Well, that was a good question, Thomas. Thank you.
Radiation.
So my question, just to close out the 5 in Focus section, well, first of all, do each of you have a specific task or a specific role that you fill on event day or before event day, or do you just guys kind of have across like get everything done? And you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have assigned roles? Do you have like assigned tasks, or is it just like everyone pitching a hand to do everything?
We've really kind of fallen into consistent roles now, which is good because it means that everyone kind of knows what the job is. For me, the actual event day itself, get there, start cranking on the stream, make sure that the stream is working. So that's my job, to make sure that that's running. All the AV throughout the house, make sure that that's working. And then I'm helping Fred with fight generation. I'm recording the outcomes of fights with Fred. But probably the biggest thing, and the people hear me do, is reading off the current fight and upcoming fights, basically just running general kind of air traffic control with respect to the flow of the event. And that is enough to keep me at 140 BPM the entire day.
That sounds like a lot to all have going out at one time, so makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, last couple of events, I've sort of fallen into the paperwork czar role as well. So I handle like our insurance and some of our legalese, which someone's got to do. So I'm happy to do it. Day of, I tend to be running around a bunch, dealing with registration, dealing with pit wrangling, doing door work as well, running the actual fights. Just whatever needs to happen, I'll go and yell at people if I need to yell at them.
So you're who I need to be hiding from on event day, is that what you're telling me?
Nice. Just tell me what you need and we'll make it happen. Don't tell me what you need. I'm sad about it. Don't do that.
I'm just going to tell you numerous times, I'm just putting on my top plate.
Yes.
I'll be hovering while you do it.
That's real.
All right. Brandon for 6.
Yeah.
Taste of my own medicine. That's good.
100%.
That'll be good.
It's coming.
Well, we got a little bit of that. What was the ants event in Hartford?
Battle?
Maker Battle. Got a little bit of that in
when
Maker
Thomas
Battle.
and I had to tell you people to be ready all day long.
Yeah,
It was great. I love yelling at Ryan and Justin.
Fred and Lucas.
Lucas, go ahead.
I'm just mortar, just filling in cracks wherever's necessary. Mostly I'm just muscle for help to set up the cage at the beginning and take it down at the end. And then during day up, I got to just kind of hang out and help out wherever.
Jack of all trades. I like it.
He's the glue who keeps us together. And I have the best job of all. I just get to sit there and talk about robot fights. It's great.
How many times have you rehearsed the name so far? Are we
None.
enjoy at count 10 or what?
None.
Plector Hinkus.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, that's at least when we do it, it's not like on any kind of stream. It's just all the builders up in the pits that get to hear it. So my actual question is, what's something about running an event that you didn't expect to love, but now you can't imagine giving up? That's why I want to know, like, if each of you have like an assigned role. Like, what's something when you first started doing this that you didn't expect to love, but now part of like event day or before event day, you just love doing to get the event running. Ashley hates me.
Broken up his names if I can't pronounce them. That's my favorite thing.
Correct.
That's Justin's favorite thing too.
Yes.
I really like, actually, one of the glue things I'll help do is like, these guys will send me out to be like, hey, this person, their robot's not working right now. Would you mind taking a look, helping them figure that out? And, you know, sometimes it's like a controller that's not programmed, or they've tried to solder to a 4-in-1 ESC too many times and the pads have come off, so something has to be kind of hacked together. And I don't know, it's fun. And one of the nice things about Master D is like, it's chill enough that if someone really needs to like fully rebuild a robot, room will be made in the schedule to try to accommodate that.
That's awesome. So do you like soldering?
I love soldering.
See, that's the thing. So Ryan played a Family Feud style game, and soldering came up as one of the tasks that builders hate to do. One of the top tasks they hate to do. And I was like, I don't understand that. When I solder, it's like a Zen thing. Like, I get into doing soldering. I love to solder, and I don't get the people that hate doing it. I just don't understand it.
They got to get the Adafruit Learn to Solder soldering kit. Like, that is the key. Go through, follow the instructions, and just make a beautiful thing happen. This isn't a rush. This isn't something you need to stress about.
I know it's
almost always wires, and soldering wires sucks. Like, soldering components, wires bad.
Yeah.
The electrical engineer, she doesn't believe in
4
it.
years in school soldering. Yes, wires suck. The components were simple.
I know it's bad radio, but you have to enjoy soldering when you're doing stuff very small.
Wow.
So yeah, for the listeners, it's essentially just a very small pocket with an absolute boatload of. It's a 4-in-1. It's a 4-in-1 and an RX and a Beck all stacked into like a little tiny spot. So it all has to be the correct wire length and sit there for 3 hours and solder the whole harness.
I'm running a 4-in-1 just for drive, and then I have a weapon ESC as well off to the side because I did 4 blitz lights as every single wheel's got a box.
No, I got it. It'll be fine. We're gonna work on soldering it and getting it all this weekend. But one of my first jobs when I started in my IT career 20 plus years ago was at a mom and pop shop, and they fixed game consoles. And one of the things that they fixed was the Xbox 360 red light, and they had to take the caps off and solder new caps back onto it. And the guy that did all the consoles literally had me sit there for hours and just like take the caps off, solder new caps on, take the caps off, solder new caps. So like I just like soldered for a couple hours, and I just got into the rhythm of doing it, and that's where I first fell in love with soldering. So
you didn't do the hairdryer trick or the wet towel one?
No, this was charging. I think we charged at that point like $80 to fix the red light on the Xboxes. So yeah, this was like a full like proper fix for it.
Just Cuz Robotics brings you the latest and greatest in Beetle weight drive motor technology, the Blitz Light, mini size for mighty drive. At under 45 grams, these are the lightest and smallest 6mm shaft drive motors on the market. Our Blitz Light gear motor includes a fully custom 20mm all-steel gearbox made into a customized 1604 brushless motor in either 2850 or 3800 kV options. The 29:1 gearbox has a super durable chromoly steel 6mm output shaft and M3 threaded face mounting. The Blitz Light can deliver the same peak torque as our awesome Dartbox Dragon brushed motors, but are 37% shorter and 25% lighter weight from brushless power. Make your bot a bit lighter with the Blitz Light, available today at justcuzrobotics.com. That's just C-U-Z robotics.com.
Hey everyone, you're already listening, so you know the fights don't end when the episode does, but the Havoc Rundown now lives over at HavocRundown.com. Again, that's HavocRundown.com. That's where we're posting combat robotics news, hosting every episode of the show, and running the largest combat robotics bot registry that's ever been put together. Stats, history, teams, and results, all built to grow alongside the sport. We're also curating fight videos, rolling out community games, and dropping merch for anyone who wants to rep the chaos. And the 2026 Fantasy League is live right now. You can create your own Fantasy League for a full season or spin one up for a single-day event. Draft robots, track performance across events, and compete in a way that actually fits how combat robotics is run. This year, our focus is the sport as a whole. If robots are fighting, it belongs in the conversation. All leagues, all formats, all rule sets, from local events to competitions around the world, we have got you covered. Thank you for listening, everyone. Let's get you back to the episode and back to the chaos right now. Okay, very cool. So that was our 5 in focus. Before we get to the listener mailbag, I wanted to focus on mass destruction itself, on the bots that are going. We've talked about the venue a little bit. You have 2 weight classes, correct? The beetles and the ants. And we talked about the pit already. That was one of the things I wanted to focus on. So in your like, because you guys are used to running this event, and that you've been staring, like you said, staring at the registry. I want to hear from each member of the team the bots that you're excited to see on the 31st, and why. Like, what are some of the bots that you guys are excited to have at your event and get to see fight and all of that kind of stuff?
Quick, everybody go look at the list again.
Yeah, stare at the
I'm
At the
always
regular.
happy to see the power of friendship.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Kokoto is a very close friend of the show. We love Kokoto, so.
I was on the beetle side. There's a robot there called Lightly Toasting that's showing up. Lightly Toasted that's
Yes.
showing up.
Yeah.
And that's at the last Glenn Boxall event when he had beetles up there. That was the one that got split down the middle by Jackalope and just immediately caught on fire. And they're coming back with new theming. And the reason they caught on fire is their carbon fiber parts didn't come in. So they just made everything out of PLA. And that does not stop a beetle weight motor.
No, at that point, you might as well just make the entire bot out of duct tape.
Yeah.
That probably would have been better. Probably got sucked into the weapon and been this just zippered or unzippered. But yeah, I'm excited to see them come back. They weren't discouraged. So that'll be great. And they got a sense of humor.
Well, it sounds you guys put on an event that is very welcoming to newcomers and is very open to the concept of I'm not going to be pushed to go into concepts that I don't know alone. And that's some of the bigger, like NHRL. Like sometimes it's very intimidating for a new builder at NHRL because it's very like, hey, we've got a schedule. We're going. And you're sitting there going, I don't know what I'm doing. And it could be very intimidating. So it sounds like you guys have a very friendly, very open environment that breeds the kind of place that new builders come out of knowing more about what they're doing and more excited for the sport.
To be fair, there's also a lot of really good robots coming too. A lot of really good beetles coming.
I didn't say there was no good robots coming.
Oh, I know. I know. But at the same time, you have like the new people, and then you have Counterpunch, you have Prince, Jackalope.
It's always in a good event when Gwen is there.
Oh yeah, and then like you have like one side of the field is like, oh okay, that's a cool new bot and everything, and the other side of the field is like, no, I would not like to fight Prince. Thank you very much. No, thank you. Anubis? No, I don't want to fight Anubis. Thank you. Yeah.
You know that's going to be our first fight, right?
Oh yeah, Anubis.
Thresher versus
boy.
Anubis.
Remember
I'm going to
that,
crawl
Brendan.
up his back, and that's about it. I'm going to stay there.
So would you like, because I don't think we've talked about it previously on any other episode, and since it's coming to MassD, would you like to explain what Thresher is?
I mean, I talked about it a little at the beginning of the last episode. Basically, Thresher is a four-wheel drive vert that is the opposite of the meta because it is gigantic 4-inch foam tires. And it's the foam tire is the same foam as Bobby. I literally asked him, like, what foam do you use and where can I order it? And I ordered the same foam. And every single wheel has its own Blitz light. So there's no belts or anything like that because I hate belts. And there's an ant weapon on it. An ant weapon on it because, saving weight for the 4 Blitz lights is how I go. But the whole thing is 2 AR-500 plates with a sandwich of UHMW in the middle. So it has barely a TPU on it. It should never die. I am hoping it just doesn't die. It just gets flopped around everywhere and the foam goes everywhere, and that's about it. I apologize for the foam beforehand.
Absolute 2015 Motorama Speed Wedge.
Exactly.
Just the blessed design language.
It's the best way that I can describe it for anyone that wants to visualize it is those little remote control cars that they sell where the wheels are huge and it hits a wall and it just flips upside down and just keeps on going and it hits the other wall and it flips on down. That's what Thresher is.
Yeah,
it's one of those with a vertical spinner on the front.
Can't wait to watch it get launched in the air.
Oh boy.
So it's going to be fun. You guys have a pretty awesome field. We have the list for anyone interested, not only on the registration sites that you guys use, but we also, if you want to go to havocrundown.com and go to your event, we have the full registration list as well as each bot links over to its records page. So that's very cool to be able to look at. But like Ryan said, there's a lot of returning awesome bots that we've seen before. There's a lot of newbies, so it should be a really cool field. Is there a reason that you guys do the 2 weight classes? And because I know there's some events that just do 2 and then they try and do more. Is it because you're trying to get less? Because you were talking about the fact that you want to go in and get out and not have too much time. What is the thought about the 2 weight classes versus just focusing on beetles or expanding to other plastic ants versus ants or
We've tried a lot of different weight classes. We did 12-pound sportsmen's for a while, or Dragon Con style 12-pound, I don't know, King of the Hill, if you want to call it like that. We've also done regular ant weights. We even did 250-gram sumos back in the day for autonomous classes. But through trying a lot of different stuff, we have found for our goals of the most fun and the most approachable, it's really all in beetle weights and plastic ants.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that you're really primarily limited by total robot count, because if you're like us, and so it's one of our starting things is we want to guarantee people the 3 fights to start off with and then the playoff fights after that. So you're going to show up. If you're ready, you get 3 fights. And then if you're in beetles, if you're top 2/3 or so, you get 4 at the least. So starting from there, you're kind of stuck on your total robot count. And you don't want to end up with too small classes, too few robots in each class. So if we're sticking at 42 robots, which is where we're at, you're kind of limited to wanting to do 2 classes. And beetle weights with this situation is kind of a foregone conclusion that we're going to run that. And then the plastic ant class is really awesome because, in my opinion, it is the easiest and cheapest way to get a new builder into the sport. And it's especially with the ubiquity of 3D printers these days and how good of a printer you can get for really not that much money in the historical price ranges of printers. It is pretty ludicrous what you can do with a couple $100 A1 Mini these days. So that aspect of it really makes Plastic Ant a kind of must-have for me personally.
Yeah, when we did Maker Space, Maker Battle, it was a kit. Why I'm blanking on the team name. Bunny.
Malice,
yes. Team Malice. We bought Team Malice, so it was the designs. It was a couple of the designs, the actual 3D designs, and then it was the box with the parts that came, and then you just printed out the parts using their 3D design, and then put the parts where it was supposed to be, and there you go. There was your ant. So it was a pretty easy, as long as you have a 3D printer and you know how to make it work, you can get the parts printed pretty fast. I think I was able to do each of them multiple different versions of each part within a week for 2 different bots, and it just printed very fast. and then we assembled it with the parts and brought it and was able to drive it. So it's you're right. The ant class, the smaller class, is a very reasonable as far as money is concerned, and very open thing for new builders to get into. So very cool.
Also predated the ubiquity of 3D printers with the plastic ant weight class. Like the original dream was we wanted people to be able to hot glue cutting board together and then have a viable robot. We've had winners who their weapon was a CD, like just a plastic CD that they cut little grooves into. So we've seen a lot of innovation when it comes to materials with that. So you're not necessarily locked into a 3D printer. The ubiquity of 3D printers has just made it even more approachable for most people, though.
Our first bot ever was made out of, it was UHMW, but it wasn't really 3D printed. I think the blocks for the weapon was 3D printed, but I had literally gotten a 3D printer and didn't know how to make it work. And all I could make was little circles, and that was part of the weapon. And the rest of it, we did in the garage with our father, cutting stuff out of UHMW and carbon fiber. So, and then we got there and it was completely overweight.
Fiber.
Completely overweight. We had to Swiss cheese the entire thing to get it in within weight. I remember it was Jim Haney, and we just kept on going back to him going, is it okay now? Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
Speed holes. We just kept speed holing the UHMW.
Yeah.
Not your first event. You're not drilling holes in the robot at the
Oh, hell yeah.
All you're describing is like when we were building the first huge, like either at their house in Connecticut or at the Miters parking lot here, of just speed holing everything and just hitting the UHMW blocks. It was great fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there was so much air going in that first robot. It was insane. So definitely understand it. The last thing I want to ask about, and we talked about it a little bit, is the pit. You talked about like the thoughts around it and how it's controlled and stuff like that. What about the meta around the pit? You've had it a couple of years now. Are there robots that build around it? Are there robots that understand how it works and have things that they do to try and utilize it to their advantage? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people understand that the pit is there. Do they build things specifically with that in mind?
From what I've noticed, just from commentating, I don't think I've seen people build for the pit. I've seen people drive for the pit. Like, generally, they'll take a robot that's competitive at other places, and the more successful people at mass destruction are people who are aware that there is a pit. And it's not the end of the world if you go into it, but it is something that you need to avoid in order to win a fight.
I'll add one thing too, like kind of on that question about meta. I'd say more than just the pit, Brendan's immense dislike of forks has played more into the design philosophy of this thing and has a bigger role in like how, I wouldn't say competitors build, but how they do small modifications to their robot to work in this arena.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone builds any. I don't think anyone builds any like pit specific configurations, but it just means that, like you said earlier, there's a goal when you're a control robot or a spinner with a damaged weapon. You have something that you can do rather than just W key randomly around the box and hope you make it to 3 minutes.
Yeah, it makes. I mean, the first thing that I can think of is just like a SME just trying to like utilize being able to go over the hole instead of in it, kind of thing. But
yeah, if we could ever convince Joe to come back to the United States and come to a mass destruction, I think SME would be ludicrous, because it was ludicrous at Sword with their push out, and that was when we had Starchild and SME there, and neither of us could fit in the push out, and they were not stoked about that, and tried to change the rules so that you had to fit in the push out in every robot orientation. But yeah, no, it would be very funny, I think, to see a SME style robot like have control of somebody and then just like printer swipe over the pit and just deposit their opponent as they drive over and then drive back.
Oh, I love it. That's very cool. That's what I was wondering. Has anyone like tried to build to that specification? So
no, but I would love to see it, and we give design awards. So if anyone's listening and they want to build a silly robot for mass destruction, we have a silly robot award.
Kokoto is currently listening to this episode and has taken his design notebook out and is furiously writing it.
Let's go.
Okay, very cool. So that is all I had. Anybody have anything else before we move on to the listener mailbag? Very cool.
Are we doing
Okay.
Thomas's first?
Yeah, can we get to that? Can we get to that first? I was going to introduce that. Give me a second. Okay, so you sent in questions. Now it's time to open the inbox. This is the listener mailbag.
You've reached the voicemail of The Havoc Rundown. Please leave your message after the tone.
So the first one we're going to go to is we have joked about for quite a while that we have the digital way to give us the mailbag on our Discord. But if you want to send us mail, we'll give you a place to send in actual mail. And we have, this is from Nick, right? We have an actual piece of mail from Nick to address to any of our guests. So Thomas is literally going to open the mail for the first time and read this out for our first guests that get to answer
this
whatever
was
Nick's question
hand-delivered.
is.
This is hand-delivered by
Don't
our
cut
own
yourself.
postal worker.
What's it labeled as? Who is it supposed to be given to?
Are all the letters cut
Well,
out
it's got my name on it.
paper and just like pasted on there?
It says
it looks
HR
handwritten.
mailbag.
Okay. Well, you come to the right place.
Hello, insert guest name here. So glad that the Havoc Rundown finally has you on again. Big fan of all you've done and accomplished. What I'd like to know is what draws you to combat robotics, and what do you feel it offers that other sports do not? Nick, Crafty Cat, Crossed Out Robotics, Combat. P.S. Justice for Kratos.
Was it handwritten, Tom?
Oh yeah, this is all handwritten.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you,
I'll post a
Nick.
picture after the podcast goes up.
Dead.
I think you weren't supposed to insert name here, but it's okay. We'll
No. It says insert guest name here.
Yeah, but I think you were
Just read the
supposed
letter.
to do
we're supposed to do
Yeah, that's what I did. I read the letter.
Good job, Connor.
Checks out.
Oh yeah, so what draws you to combat robotics?
Who wants to start?
You want
Okay, sure.
Oh,
All right. Oh, okay. Overruled. I don't know. So for me, the big thing with me, there's a bunch of stuff, right? I really like engineering. I like making stuff. I really like competition. I like being able to get. I was never any good at hockey. I was never any good at football. But one thing I can do is design a combat robot. So it really gives that like thrill of competition. And whether you win or you lose, it just gives you that massive dopamine rush, and that's really what I love about it. And being able to get out there and compete in something that is not, it's as close to being in the NFL as I'm ever gonna get. So that's what I really like about it is being able to get out there and have that competition, and have fun with my friends doing something that I think is really, really cool. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing for me.
good. Who's next?
For me, it's like my day-to-day job is electrical engineering, computer engineering, firmware writing, sort of like more on the electrical computer side of the engineering spectrum. And CR gives me a really good outlet to work on some of the mechanical things that I don't get to do at my job as much. So I get to design weapon systems, design frames, and do some CAD, and that's really fun to get a little bit of that diversity.
Nice.
Fred, Lucas.
Look at that. Nick really knows. How did he predict that he was going to have robot builders on this?
No, but designing robots is definitely a really nice creative exercise for me. A lot of other, hobbies, sports, or whatever have rules. Like if you're making drones, it has to use a such and such size propeller with a such and such size motor. But with combat robots, you can put just about any motor that you want. Some people are crazy enough to even put gasoline motors in their robots and just make any size system or any kind of design language that you really want. And every new robot gets to be a new expression, a new design language, a new sort of realm of exploration. And that's what I really enjoy about it. And then I really enjoy seeing how other people approach that exact same project or problem, like what design language they have, what shortcuts they do, what systems they develop. And I love seeing that.
I honestly, Fred says kind of exactly what I like about it. I'm just not quite as competent of a mechanical engineer, so I don't quite see all the details that he does. But I really like solving the problem, seeing how other people solve it. So, yeah.
The new robots, all the new ideas. Yep, very cool. Our next question is from Alex from Eclipse. He says, what have been some of your favorite developments in the sport you have seen during your time competing, hosting, and building? This is for whoever wants to answer.
The double-edged sword of 3D printing TPU spam has been very nice to see. Because there are right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it, but everybody wants to do it. So that's been a very interesting thing to see. I'm also biased. I was working at a day job with David Jin for years, so just sort of seeing him and the WPI design language evolve around that same time, and then it sort of turned into what most competitive beetle weights are using these days. So I still like seeing a lot of people take that approach.
Cool.
Yeah, for me, the TPU one's a big one. The other thing is just develop, and something that's kind of interesting, I would say, at the very least, is the development of the combat robot specific component market and the combat robot industrial complex. is very, very interesting because it means that you have options that are not, because I'd say probably my second beetle weight or third beetle weight, I did a quad brushless drive, much like your Blitz Pro object.
Yeah.
Quad brushless drive, all 1806 quantum swaps off the hardened 1000 RPM beetle motor bot kits motors that were popular many, many years ago. And I'm sure people are still running today because they were bulletproof. But there was a lot of pain and suffering about learning exactly how these gearboxes are put together and exactly what these two motors may look the same, but this one has a 17 millimeter bolt circle and this one has a 19 millimeter bolt circle. And if you get them wrong, you're hosed. And so it's like all these little things. It's like, yes, this one's a metric gear. This is module 0.5. This one's a imperial gear. It's DP whatever the heck. They look similar, but they're not the same. And so it's like your pinion's wrong. It's the whole thing. So it's like learning about all that. There's a lot that went into it, and the robot was terrible. But there was a lot to go in there. And now you don't need to do any of that, right? You can skip that step entirely, which is pretty cool. So the development of these new parts, I mean, the stuff that you can buy nowadays, to just out of like the drone side of things, is ludicrous. Like even late 2024, I was running with Mulsanne, my 3-pounder. I was running Vex, the 6 amp Vex brushed ESCs that you crack open and solder 2 of the wires together, like Jameson put on his website in like 2008. And now I'm running a quad 4-in-1 that's as big as 2 of those combined, and it has probably 10x the power density like capability. It's ludicrous, and it's like the cost is just insignificant. It's crazy. So I would say the availability of parts and what you can now do because of that is, I think, pretty incredible, and definitely one of the biggest developments since I started.
Yeah, Seth and Peter are really spoiling all of us now.
Well, I remember when we were first building our first bot, we went into a hobby shop and we're like, we need these motors. And they're like, for what? What kind of plane are you building? We're like, no, we're building a combat robot. You're building a what?
Well, you don't have to go that far back to even go, like, if you're going to do a hub motor, you'd have to figure it out yourself, kind of thing. Like, hub motors nowadays, like, you could just buy a hub motor from Seth and it works. It works right out of the box. It is a completely, like, solid object that completely works and it mounts correctly and everything like that. But, like, not that long ago, if you were going to do a hub motor, it was like, you're doing a hub motor, you need to figure out how exactly it works, and you need to be able to, like, design it correctly and everything like that. And people would be like, oh my God, you're doing a hub motor? And now it's like, oh yeah, it's got a hub motor in it. Okay.
Well, that's Reefer's original design is a hub motor that Corey helped me design. So, but on the TPU point,
with drones, like drones technologies become makes things so light, and that's the big thing in combat robotics, making things light So it's like that's another big thing that's helping out too.
On the TPU point, I would love to see the sales figure for the last couple of years for all the major manufacturers of TPU, and just did they ever think TPU would be the plastic that would go up, like be the one that would be used the most around this kind of thing? I don't know. It's interesting.
It's what I use for anything when I'm doing. I just built a go-kart, and just for anything that's needs to be tough, and I can't just spam. I just can't just throw PLA at. I just use TPU for everything, and it's just so convenient too, because you're like, you don't have to be, if you're dealing with fits and stuff, or you like want to be able to like jam a handle in and be able to drag it around or something. You just like get it close and it'll flex and it's fine. It's pretty crazy stuff. Or like an intake duct on a car, like have a gigantic puddle of TPU. Enjoy.
I heard something about motorcycle from 2014 that I printed out of TPU on a MakerBot 2 somehow.
Agony.
So Alex from Pandemonium, kind of talked about this earlier. I don't know if you have any other points for it, but what is the recent history of the pit, and what should we expect from it from this time around? So is there any changes to the pit for this competition?
Nothing new. The only thing, or at least on the competitors' end, the only thing is I have a couple of tricks to try and keep it. It's kind of a pain. It sits on the ground, right? So it doesn't mount to the bottom of the floor. The reason I did it that way was I didn't want, when it fired, it's obviously got a bunch of inertia with this like 8-pound or 10-pound carriage plus the weight of the robot coming upwards. And what I didn't want to have happen was it essentially hit its limit, and then all of that inertia is arrested immediately, and the whole floor goes bang, and it's like scary or looks not good. I didn't want it to look dangerous, right? I just wanted to look like, phew, the robots fly out. So it sits on the ground and it's got feet. But the issue is that it hops when you fire it. It hops like an inch or an inch and a half in the air when it fires. So I had these little struts to make it not hop when it fires, and they worked okay last event, but I have some ideas to iterate on that and make them not make it not walk around, so we don't need to keep adjusting it all the time. So nothing on the builder side. We're probably gonna run another. We ran the HDPE top last time, which worked pretty well, so I think we're gonna run another HDPE cover. We ran a curve cover the first time on the top of it, and it got inhaled into a bunch of stuff. People weren't stoked about that, so we're not doing that.
Why'd we have all that leftover curve lying around the basement, Brandon?
Pain and suffering. It was the alternate wheel choice material for big heavyweight Starchild in 2022, and so we have an absolute boatload of it. And by we, I mean Fred Spocky.
You're welcome.
It's also great because it's just like 8 by 8 foot panels with a giant like 7 foot circle cut out of it. So you've got like nothing to work with. It's great.
Yeah. So if you want a 4 foot by 4 foot section that is entirely a crescent, then we got all the material you need.
So Ben from The Wall says, for those who don't fully know, what is the history of the Mass Destruction events? So we touched on it a little bit, but does anybody want to take that of like the full beginning to now of, a brief summary of Mass Destruction for anyone that doesn't know?
So Rob Masick has been a cornerstone of the combat robotics community going back to like 2002. He's hosted all number of events across New England, and in 2015, after like the reboot of Discovery Channel?
It was ABC at that point.
Yeah, ABC. After the reboot of the ABC, he thought it'd be pretty cool to start robot fighting again in the Boston area. So he got together with some of his friends at Artisans Asylum, which is a very cool makerspace, formerly in Somerville. They're now in Brighton. And he's like, hey, let's start fighting robots again. All I have is a dream, and I'm sure all of you people can make that happen for me. And it's actually just like under that inspiration that the first event came together. He had a lot of really cool ideas around making a giant trapezoidal arena that could have a bigger floor space than your regular arena. It was all welded in-house at Artisans. There was a lot of huge volunteer effort on it, and mostly his key ideas of trying to maximize the number of fights that people had. He's a little jaded from the old Comedy Central days where you would show up, have one fight, then go home. So that's where he really introduced me and a lot of other people to the modified Swiss format, where you can have 3 to 4 to 5 fights a single event and you end up being happy. But also just like generally trying to have fun with the event rather than just inherently being competitive. So after a couple of years of that, Rob actually ended up moving out to the West Coast to do Megabots, more giant robot fighting because it's a small world. And I picked up the mantle from him to help just keep the event going. We bounced around a lot of different places, whether it was keeping the event going at Artisans or going to a bunch of maker fairs. We had some wild venues for some of our events, and none of them are coming. Oh, I think my favorite was South Station.
Oh, yeah. We were just outside next to the train station downtown.
In downtown Boston.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And just tried to keep that going. Ended up thinking, hey, this arena is kind of big, heavy, and clumsy. Worked together with Charles Guan of Overhaul to get a new one made. Started to put everything together, and it went for a while until we decided this event is a lot of effort. Maybe we should just go on pause or hiatus. Actually sold Charles's arena to Norwalk. That was their first arena, which was an interesting little tidbit that we get to put in there. And then a couple of years ago...
Well, then COVID happened.
Then COVID happened. Yeah. But a couple of years ago, we're just sitting around talking, doing Omega stuff, and we're like, hey, what if we had amateur robot fighting events back in Boston? What if we brought it back?
Yeah, I'd say after the last season shot, I think we were all very interested in sort of returning to the roots of the hobbyist scene instead of the TV scene. So sort of brought it back from there, and that's where we are now.
Very cool. I love it. Okay, so Matt Lantry, I apologize that Thomas already asked your question, but his question was, what's your favorite exhibit or portion of the museum that Mass D takes place in? Which we've already talked about. So, Matt, if you want, you can punch Thomas the next time you see him, because he stole your question.
And take a picture and post it on our Discord, please.
I have a second answer to that question. Yeah. My favorite thing is there is this 4-bar linkage that has a stylus on it, and there is a 2x scale watch face that they have. And the notion of it is that thing is ganged up to 10 Dremel tools that are all on the 4-bar mechanism. And you put 10 blanks, just brass blanks, in the machine. And then you take the stylus, and then you go and you trace out with the stylus the shape that you want. Normally, it's like a positive steel mold. And in this case, it was like a noble metal or like somebody's face. And just by tracing out all of those specific lines, that movement is carried over to the 10 Dremel tools that are sitting there, simultaneously cutting out 10 of the exact same shape at the same time. I think that's my favorite machine at the museum.
And it's also
Very
like
cool.
150 years old too, right? Like it's like, yeah.
I've seen this thing you're talking about. I don't remember seeing the 10 Dremels attached to it. However, I am all for making this happen.
Very cool. Lyndon says, hey all, where'd the robots go? We get you've been busy running the spectacular Masty events, but we miss the likes of Lil Rip and Starchild at NHRL. We would love to see the dramatic return of the most chaotic team.
Everybody was too busy getting married.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been busy. Life's been busy. None of the Norwalk dates last year just worked out for me personally, and just trying to get everyone to go. It's always more fun when you get more people going. So I like to kind of go when there's friends going. And the dates just really didn't work out for anybody last year. So I'm personally planning on getting more back into it last year. I also got into other projects last year. I engine swapped a car and built a go-kart and did all kinds of other ridiculous stuff. So swapped the back end out of my truck for a different one. So did a lot of other projects, and I'm personally ready to get back into it. I have I obviously can't hear it, but I have my new beetle weight in front of me. So I'm planning on going to at least one Norwalk and Moto this year with that. So
I was just
Is it
asking you
Mulsanne?
guys going to
Yeah.
Alabama because I know that
it's
an event you guys usually do.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty quiet at Moto this year. I think it might just be me. The as far as Omega people, and maybe Amanda might come too. We'll see. But I guess the dates just didn't really kind of work out for everybody this year. But yeah, it's a new version of Mulsanne that's redesigned from the ground up. To have me stop being an old man running 3 brushed motors in a Beetle weight in the Advanced Future Space year of 2026. So I'm really hoping that it takes the whole thing up a notch and it's already pretty darn competitive. I'm pretty proud of the way that it's fought so far, but I really want to take it up a notch. So
Mulsanne, that's a damn good bot. I really have enjoyed watching you fight it in the past. It is a damn good bot. I really do like it.
Yeah. Did that bring Starchild back at some point? Now that I have a hub motor ecosystem that I like, that was the one thing that stopped me from building another 3-pound Starchild for years. Was I had no solution for the weapon. The way that 3-pound Starchild worked was it kept the weapon belt on and it won by knockout, or it lost the weapon belt and it lost by JD. That's just how Starchild fought for like 2 or 3 years. So until I had a solution for that, I didn't really want to build another one. Now that I do, I can. And it can run all the same stuff that Mulsanne does. I'll just take all the different parts and repurpose it into a different object and bang. So that's kind of what's going on my end. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm excited. We'll build a new 12-pounder for Moto. It'll be a blast. So what about you guys?
Weren't you thinking about something the other day?
I was thinking about something in the shower, but it's an idea that we as a team widely lambasted. So, how dark my thoughts go. I noticed you said Little Rip. That's not my robot. That's Anna's robot. You didn't say any of my robots. That's why I'm not competing, because you don't remember any of my robots.
There's on Fred.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, Dash.
Yep. There you go.
You could blame Lyndon. That wasn't my fault. I didn't write that question.
Korea must
Most
come
didn't
back
know who was coming on,
immediately.
so he was guessing. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But I'm a big marathon fan, Fred. Just
Oh, thank you.
Lucas or Spocky? Any bot plans or no?
Nothing I'm currently working on. Again, it's just been a lot of like other stuff going on with the event. We'll see.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Our last,
we got like 5 weddings this year.
No,
God.
Yeah.
hey, yeah, no, I totally get it.
Like 3?
So which bot's going to be the ring bearer at the wedding? That's the question.
not a good idea. Yeah.
It is a
We
possibility.
actually, that was a wedding that we went to last year. I'm not kidding.
Hey, that's a cool idea. I like that. Our last question comes from Megan, our freestyle guru, our freestyle queen at NHRL up at the desk. Megan says, you guys kill it when it comes to team theming. I still have some of your Ripperoni stickers. My question is, if cost and practicality weren't a thing, what outrageous team merch would you want to make for your robots?
Oh, themed pit vipers.
That would be a great one.
We care of themed pit vipers recently, but I think we can have our own.
Yeah,
That would be
hard.
so good.
Especially if there was like a pizza reflection or like an alien reflection in the lens.
One thing I want is like Steve McQueen 67 Le Mans pit style like pit shirts with all the old fashioned like theming and all that. Because like Mulsanne's all Marlboro themed, so doing like really old 60s racing stuff would be so cool. So being able to get the opportunity to do that would be sick. Who knows? Maybe if we ever do that, what shall not be named again, we'll do something like that.
Waiting for the British tobacco sponsorship checks to finally start cashing.
Very cool. Okay, well, that was the last question we had. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Havoc Rundown. A huge thanks to Team Omega, Brandon, Lucas, Fred, and Spocky for joining us and giving us the inside scoop on the return of mass destruction this year. Thanks to you guys for coming on. It was an awesome conversation. So glad to have you.
Thanks for having us. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for having us for sure. Check out the stream. Check out the event in person.
We're all going to be there.
Heck yeah.
Yep, we're all going to be
Do
there.
you want to plug? Do you want to plug where the stream is?
Sure. So if you just look up Omega Robotics Team on YouTube, where it's in the live section of our YouTube channel, I just put the pre thing up today, so you can follow that and get the notification when it goes live. If you can't make it in person, but we typically update all our stuff on the Facebook page, and that's in all the links and stuff for the brackets, or in all the descriptions for the videos and such. So if you're confused as to what's going on during the day, you can check out the brackets and see where we are in the course of the day.
Okay.
There might or might not be a post on the front page of Havoc Rundown as well, with all those links.
Great.
Well, it'll also be in the description for this episode as well. So I'll put your YouTube page and everything there as well. So we will be watching closely and be there on January 31st as about to take over the Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation. I apologize for getting that wrong in the intro. And whether you're fighting, spectating, or cheering from home, this is one of the events that you absolutely don't want to miss. If you want to dive deeper into the world of combat robotics, follow the show, or join our community, including our fantasy league, head over to our official site, havocrundown.com, where you can get all of that and more. Thanks again for listening, and as always, we'll see you in the pit. Say goodbye to our listeners.
Juno, say goodbye. Say goodbye, Juno. Okay, bye.
Wow.